Hello, everyone, and welcome to our wonderful Wednesday installment of Miss Hope's Reading Hour. So sorry that we are a little tardy this evening because I was still working on the surprise. Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see? So remember I said I was going to change this background and it has such beautiful color. I'm so glad I was able to change it. I only have one row left to go. So yeah, but I had to get on with you guys. I couldn't keep putting off the time because if I did, I would have had to tell you that I couldn't see you today and I'd have to see you Friday. I didn't want to do that because I already put off Monday. So the reason why Monday was put off was because I needed a little bit of break. Not from all of you, but I finished my class, friends. I finished. So the next time I have class will be in March. So I have a little bit of a break in February. I'm going to try to get on top of my work and find out about my class and what books I need and read a little bit beforehand so that I can be ahead of the game. Okay. So that's something for you all to learn, all of you young ones who watch. Once you get older, get into college, one thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to try to get ahead of some things. Hello, Lauren. I'm so glad to see you. So glad you and your two little lovelies will enjoy this Hope's Reading Hour today. So hope that your weekend was great. Hopefully you had a great Saturday and Sunday and a great Monday and a wonderful Tuesday. Now here in Philadelphia, if you go to public school, you have pretty much had half days all this week. Because the first 2 days it snowed, and it snowed a lot. And on Monday it snowed. Really, it snowed from Saturday. Well, really, no, yeah. Was it Friday? No, was it Saturday? Saturday didn't end until Tuesday. Can you believe it? That's a lot of snow. So it snowed until Tuesday. And so because the snow was still coming down on Tuesday, had another half day. Then here comes our wonderful Wednesday. And Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They are report card conference days. There you go. We got report card conferences on those days. Okay. So in the afternoon, we have to talk to parents about how the kids are doing in school. And that will be happening Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So my Philadelphia public students, you have a wonderful week this week. But during the morning, we are still getting a lot of work done. Many of the parents in my class are very pleased and can see that their students are doing very, very well. Hello, Miss Brandy. Thank you for being here. And my friends, and this is for everybody, okay? Happy Black History Month to all of you. Not just if you're Black, not if you're white, not if you're blue with pink polka dots, red with orange flowers. It's for everybody, because guess what? Black history is our history. Everybody's history is our history because we are all here together and we are all family, right? So have some great books for you all. But before we get to all of that, remember the disclaimer, this wonderful music that you will hear and the books we will read. Unfortunately, Miss Hope does not own the copyrights or any rights to any of it, but it is here for your listening and reading enjoyment, okay? Also, Make sure you check down in the ticker because Miss Hope's Reading Hour Library always needs her books. So if you would like to donate, you can donate via Cash App or send digital gift cards to our email. Or if you are interested in sending me books straight away to my house, guess what? You can leave your information and I'll contact you about how to get those books to me. Okay? Now, let us get to the books, shall we? So I have two great books today. Our first book is called Why Mosquitoes Buzz in People's Ears. Did you ever wonder why? Why mosquitoes buzz in people's ears? This book is by Verna Ardima, pictures by Leo and Diane Dillon. And this is a Puffin young reader's book. Why mosquitoes buzz in people's ears? They drive you nuts in the summertime, right? Now, this book, I'm very interested in reading this book. I've had this book for a while. This book is called Radiant Child, and it is the story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. Okay, being an artist, I love reading about artists. So this book is by Javaka Steptoe. Radiant Child, the story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. And we'll find out when we start reading. Also, this book has a dust jacket. So we got to find out if it looks the same underneath as it looks right here. And of course, my friends, we're still trying to find out who stole New Year's Eve. There's some things going on, and we got to find out how all of it comes together to figure out how Ice Eve got stolen and the other 18 ice sculptures, okay, for the ice carnival. How do you steal ice sculptures? They're heavy. You got to find out what happened. So let us get to our first book, Why Mosquitoes Buzz in People's Ears, by Verna Ardima. Pictures by Leo and Diane Dillon. One morning, a mosquito saw an iguana drinking at a water hole. The mosquito said, "Iguana, you will never believe what I saw yesterday." "Try me," said Iguana. The mosquito said, "I saw a farmer digging yams that were almost as big as I am." "What's a mosquito compared to a yam?" snapped the iguana grumpily. "I would rather be deaf than listen to such nonsense." Then he stuck 2 sticks in his ears and went off nick, 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 nick through the reeds. Those are some pretty tiny yams. The iguana was still grumbling to himself when he happened to pass by a python. The big snake raised his head and said, "Good morning, iguana." The iguana didn't answer, but lumbered on, bobbing his head, badaming, badaming. "Now why won't he speak to me?" said the python to himself. "Iguana must be angry about something. I'm afraid he's plotting some mischief against me." He began looking for somewhere to hide. First likely place he found was a rabbit hole, and in he went. Wasausu, wasausu, wasausu. Then the rabbit saw the big snake coming into her burrow, and she was terrified. She scurried out through the back way and bounded, crick, 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 across the clearing. I guess you would be scared too. What big old snake coming into your house? A crow saw the rabbit running for her life. He flew into the forest crying, caw, caw, caw. It was his duty to spread the alarm in case of danger. A monkey heard the crow. He was sure that some dangerous beast was prowling near. He began screeching and leaping, kili-wili, through the trees to help warn the other animals. As the monkey was crashing through the treetops, happened to land on a dead limb. It broke and fell on an owl's nest, killing one of the little owlets. Oh man. What a shame. Mother Owl was not at home, for though she usually hunted only in the night, this morning she was still out searching for one more tidbit to satisfy her hungry babies. When she returned to the nest, she found one of them dead. Her other children told her that the monkey had killed it. All that day and all that night she sat in her tree, so sad, so sad, so sad. Now it was Mother Owl who woke the sun each day so that the dawn could come. But this time, when she should have hooted for the sun, she did not do it. The night grew longer and longer. The animals of the forest knew it was lasting much too long. They feared that the sun would never come back. Poor Mother Owl. At last, King Lion called a meeting of the animals. They came and sat down, hem, 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 around a council fire. Mother Owl did not come, so the antelope was sent to fetch her. When she arrived, King Lion asked Mother Owl, "Why have you not called the sun? The night has lasted long, 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 and everyone is worried." Mother Owl said, "Monkey killed one of my owlets. Because of that, I cannot bear to wake the sun." The king said to the gathered animals, "Did you hear? It was the monkey who killed the owlet, and now Mother Owl won't wake the sun so that the day can come." Oh boy. Sounds like some confusion to me. Then King Lion called the monkey. He came before him nervously, glancing from side to side, rim, 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 rim. "Monkey," said the king, "why did you kill one of Mother Owl's babies?" "Oh, king," said the monkey, "it was the crow's fault. He was calling and calling to warn us of danger, and I went leaping through the trees to help. A limb broke under me, and it fell on the owl's nest." The king said to the council, "So it was the crow who alarmed the monkey, who killed the owlet, and now Mother Owl won't wake the sun so that the day can come." Oh no. Then the lion called for the crow. That big bird came flapping up. He said, "King Lion, it was the rabbit's fault. I saw her running for her life in the daytime. Wasn't that reason enough to spread an alarm?" The king nodded his head and said to the council, "So it was the rabbit who startled the crow, who alarmed the monkey, who killed the owlet, and now Mother Owl won't wake the sun so the day can come. This is not looking good. Then King Lion called the rabbit. The timid little creature stood before him, one paw trembling, drawn up uncertainly. "Rabbit," cried the king, "why did you break a law of nature and go running in the daytime?" "Oh, king," said the rabbit, "it was the python's fault. I was in my house minding my own business when that big snake came in and chased me out." The king said to the council, "So it was the python who scared the rabbit, who startled the crow, who alarmed the monkey, who killed the owlet, and now Mother Owl won't wake the sun so the day can come." King Lion called the python, who came slithering, "Wasausu, wasausu," past the other animals. "But king," he cried, "it was the iguana's fault. He wouldn't speak to me. I thought he was plotting some against me. When I crawled into the rabbit's hole, I was only trying to hide." The king said to the council, "So it was the iguana who frightened the python, who scared the rabbit, who startled the crow, who alarmed the monkey, who killed the owlet, and now Mother Owl won't wake the sun so the day can come." Now the iguana was not at the meeting, for he had heard the summons. The antelope was sent to fetch him. All the animals, something landed in my mouth. I apologize. All the animals laughed when they saw the iguana coming, badameen, badameen, with the sticks still stuck in his ears. King Lion pulled the sticks, paroop, paroop. Then he asked, "Iguana, what evil have you been plotting against the python?" None at all," cried the iguana. "Python is my friend." "Then why wouldn't you say good morning to me?" demanded the snake. You know who this is getting back to. "I didn't hear you or even see you," said the iguana. "Mosquito told me such a big lie, I couldn't bear to listen to it, so I stuck sticks in my ear." "Ngay, ngay, ngay," laughed the lion. "So that's why you had sticks in your ears." "Yes," the iguana, "it was the mosquito's fault." King Lion said to the council, "So it was the mosquito who annoyed the iguana, who frightened the python, who scared the rabbit, who startled the crow, who alarmed the monkey, who killed the owlet, and now Mother Owl won't wake the sun so the day can come." Uh-oh. Mosquito is in big trouble. "Punish the mosquito! Punish the mosquito!" cried all the animals. When Mother Owl heard that, she was satisfied. She turned her head toward the east and hooted, "Hoo, hoo, hoo." And the sun came up. Meanwhile, the mosquito had listened to it all from a nearby bush. She crept under a curly leaf stem and was never found and brought before the council. But because of this, the mosquito has a guilty conscience. To this day, she goes about whining in people's ears. Z, everyone still angry at me. When she does that, she gets an honest answer. Oh, kapow! I guess everyone is still angry at you, mosquito. So, if you were curious, that is why mosquitoes buzz in people's ears. Still hiding, wondering if people are upset, and they let her know. Get away. This is a West African tale retold by Verna Ardima. Why mosquitoes buzz in people's ears. I love that story. All right. Our next book, Radiant Child. The story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. So, the cover without the dust jacket isn't the same, but it's a nice picture of a young Jean-Michel. Oh, look, and this is a picture of him when he was older. And this is a Little Brown and Company book. Book, I gotta make sure I get all the pages. Somewhere in Brooklyn, between hearts that thump, Dutch and hopscotch, and salty mouths that slurp sweet ice, a little boy dreams of being a famous artist. Look at these pictures. This book has great pictures. In his house, you can tell a serious artist dwells as he sits at a table with pencils scattered everywhere. Jean-Michel draws from morning until night with a serious face amid a storm of papers. He refuses to sleep until he has created a masterpiece. At night, images enchant Jean-Michel's mind, and he wakes from his dreams to add one more line. His drawings are not neat or clean, nor does he color inside the lines. They are sloppy, ugly, and sometimes weird, but somehow still beautiful. His art comes from his mother, Matilda, a Puerto Rican woman who designs and sews, cooks and cleans, and makes the house look like a stylish magazine. But most important, she lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel on his father's old work papers. From her, he learns that art is not only in the poetry books she reads to him, or in the theaters and museums they visit. Art is the street games of little children, in our style and the words that we speak. It is how the messy patchwork of the city creates new meaning for ordinary things. Art is everywhere. I've always believed that. While visiting the museum, they look at his favorite works of art, reading the story behind each artist, reading the story behind each work. This is how Jean Michel learns what it means to be a famous artist. Back at home, he creates art on the floor as his father, Gerard, plays jazz records. Mama Matilda cooks arroz con pollo, that's chicken with rice, and calls, Jean Michel, mi amor, my love. The energy and life of the city can be felt in each line of his drawings. As time goes by, Jean Michel learns that art has a healing power. After a car accident, he is scared and confused. Matilda gives him a book to calm his fears. It is filled with pictures of bones and skulls and other body parts. Jean Michel draws from it until he knows it all by heart. He is no longer afraid. Back at home, Jean Michel's body heals, but his heart breaks. His mother's mind is not well, and the family breaks. She no longer lies on the floor and draws with Jean Michel, but sits by the window singing only to birds. Jean Michel is confused and filled with a terrible blues when Matilda can no longer live at home. He tries drawable out of his blues, but things are not the same. As Jean Michel grows older, he visits his mother when he can, all bringing his artwork to show, telling her that one day it will be in a museum when I am a famous artist. A teenager now, Jean Michel decides, Papa, I will be very, very famous one day. With a sly look and a twinkle in the eye, Jean Michel leaves Brooklyn for New York City, the Lower East Side, a concrete jungle where only the tough survive. During the day, dressed in a green jumpsuit splattered with paint, Jean Michel stays with friends, sleeping on couches and floors, leaving a barrage of collages and poem-filled papers everywhere he goes. At night, Jean Michel spray paints the walls downtown with poems and drawings that catch the eye of artists, gallery goers, and passers-by. Under his art, he signs the name Samu instead of Jean Michel. Everyone wants to know, who is Samu? I wonder what that means. Samu moves from street corner to art gallery walls with powerful color compositions and line, collaging and painting on anything he can find. His art is still not neat or clean, and definitely not inside the lines, but somehow still beautiful. With his magical charm, Jean-Michel draws a crowd when it's time to work, he prefers to be alone with a radio and TV on full blast. Now, in expensive suits splattered with paint, he flips through stacks of magazines and open books and paints into the night, and sometimes for days at a time, while sounds and images jump into his head. Jean-Michel, an artist among artists, never doubts one line, creating from a soundtrack that is all his own. People describe him as radiant, wild, a genius child. But in his heart, he is a king. So he draws crowns for himself and others he admires. If anybody should think you're a king or queen, it should be you, right? A grown man now, with the art world in his hands, Jean-Michel still visits his mother when he can. And at his most important above all the critics, fans, and artists he admires, the place of honor is his mother's, a queen on a throne. Now he is a famous artist. The end. What a great story. He was definitely a famous artist. And this is a portrait of Jean-Michel Basquiat as a grown man. Now, if you want to buy one of his paintings, you're going to have to pay a pretty penny, okay? So just one of the great African Americans that we will learn about this month on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. And not just African Americans, we will also be learning about some Africans as well. Because where do you think African American come from? People who were from Africa became American, either by, unfortunately, slavery or by coming here on their own. So we will learn some African history and some African American history during this month. Also, this is the month of love, Valentine's Day. So we will have some books about love as well. Well, now, my friends, guess where we are? We are at the place of finding out some more about who stole New Year's Eve. Okay? Listen, Mrs. Martman, the author of this book, okay? She puts some twists and turns in her books now. So, we are now in chapter 17. In chapter 16, sorry. Of course, everyone's asking, since Alex is detecting, everyone's asking, where's Yasmin? Where's Yasmin? Where's Yasmin? And he is like, can people just stop asking about Yasmin? Because he doesn't want to say that she's upset with Eve because of the singing. Okay. And he doesn't want to believe that she's upset because he's giving Eve more attention than her, so she thinks. But in our last chapter, of course, you all know that not only did Ice Eve go missing from in front of Eve's house, but okay, all 18 of the other ice sculptures for the ice carnival gone. No one knows where they are. Someone took those too. So they're trying to figure out who took them. The person who's in charge of the ice carnival is totally upset, up in arms, wondering who would want to do that to the ice carnival. So they figured we'll have a pet costume parade and we'll give an award to the first, second, and third place costume. That will save the ice carnival. So Alex and his friends decide, yes, we will help. Remember, Alex and his friends went to the police station because his mom called for them. And she was asking them to talk to Eve's uncle, who is the ice sculptor. And she was trying to find out, well, how big are these things? How much do they weigh? Why would someone want to steal them? Do you think there's anyone who would want to? Then the kids get to ask questions. Then there's that, when he tries to turn on the sink, that poof, and then the flash, and his camera goes off. We're trying to figure out where that came from, because there is some crazy tipster who's afraid that things will explode in College Springs, Pennsylvania. And we still don't know who that person is. So, again, a lot going on. And oh yeah, that's right. So Mr. Glassy, who's over the ice carnival, even though he says he's not interested in the insurance money that he can get for the ice sculptures he paid for, Alex's mom is keeping that in the back of her mind, because people will do things to get the insurance money. Anywho, let's get to the story, see if we have any more clues to help us try to figure out, first, who stole Ice Eve and the other ice sculptures. Second, who is this mystery tipster who thinks things are going to explode? Why did Eve's uncle's sink explode in his ice sculpting studio? And we still haven't found out anything about Eve's dad, Professor Henry, his gasoline that he's trying to use to replace gasoline, and what the ingredient is that he needs to make gasoline work. Too many mysteries in this one mystery. Okay. All right. Let's get to chapter 17. Outside, see what Mr. Glassy meant about Ice Carnival not doing so well. There were a few people by the booths selling cider and pretzels. Otherwise, downtown College Springs was so quiet it was almost spooky. I put my hands in my pocket, turned right, and headed down Main Street. Passing the entrance to Cloud Alley, I felt a chill as a gust of wind blew between the buildings. At the same time, I heard footsteps behind me and glanced back. But what was that purple shadow in the doorway of the apartment building? Did it move? Or did I imagine it? I turned my eyes ahead and kept going, walking a little faster. Was I being followed? How do you know if you're being followed? Then I heard it again, definite footsteps. This time, I didn't look back. Instead, I gave myself a pep talk. Alex, you're being ridiculous. It's daylight. And you're on the main street of your own town. Even if someone is behind you, it doesn't mean they're following you. The pep talk made me feel better. But that was when I realized part of the problem. I was all by myself, and I'm not used to it. Usually, Yasmin is with me. What I really wanted to do was turn to somebody and talk about the case. So I did the next best thing. I talked to myself. I don't mean out loud, duh, but in my head. So, Alex, you want to know what's bugging me most about this case? Sure, Alex, what? It's motive, Alex. Why would anybody want ice sculptures? Maybe there was some other ice carnival somewhere, an ice carnival even more broke than ours, and the thief couldn't afford to buy sculptures, so he stole some. You have a good idea there, Alex, but if there was another ice carnival, there would have to be publicity for it. And if there was publicity, we would have heard. Why, that's an excellent point, Alex. Thank you, Alex. One thing I noticed about talking to myself, there was a lot of encouragement and not much argument. In that sense, it definitely beat talking to Yasmin. But by now I arrived at the nightly bank where a little printed sign, dollar sign, marked the space where the sculpture used to be. I looked at the empty space, then looked up and down the street. So, Alex, if you were trying to steal a bunch of sculptures at once, how would you do it? Alex, let me try to think like a thief. I guess what I'd do is park one big truck in the middle of downtown, get a whole mess of people and a whole mess of dollies, and fan out. Yeah, Alex, downtown isn't that big. If everybody moved fast, you could do it in a few minutes. How long did Mom say it was between cop patrols? Half an hour. But what if there was someone else downtown to see you? Someone besides the cops? Unlikely, Alex. It's the middle of the night in December. Besides, Bub always says when people act like they know what they're doing, they generally don't get questioned. You know what, Alex? That makes me think whoever committed this crime was someone with a lot of confidence, a class president kind of person. Yeah, you could be right. A person like Yasmin, in other words. Oh, come on, Alex. What would Yasmin want with ice sculptures? I'm not saying she stole the ice sculptures. I'm just saying someone like her stole them. What did Mom say? Military precision. Who do we know with military experience? Good question, Alex. There's probably a lot of people, but the only ones I know are Bub and Sam Banner, the old baseball coach. I don't think either of them would want a bunch of ice sculptures, though. Here is another thing I learned that day about talking to myself, at least in public. It makes you look strange to the outside world. How I know is because right about then, a voice behind me said, "Son, are you all right?" I was so surprised I probably jumped a mile. Then I turned and saw that it was my other baseball coach, Coach Hathaway. He's kind of an old hippie with long hair and a little gold earring, but he's a good coach and I really like him. Hey, I grinned. How you doing? 6 weeks till pitchers and catchers. Coach and I bumped fists, and he asked me what I was up to. I didn't tell him I was talking to myself. I just said I was downtown helping my mom with the case of the missing ice sculptures. Then I added, before he could ask, Yasmin is busy practicing for choir auditions. So I hear, Coach Hathaway said. And I hear you have a new friend too, Eve Henry. I'm interested in her dad's research into grass technology. That's where it's at. In fact, our good coach our good friend Coach Banner might be investing big time in Professor Henry's work. And PYB is getting involved too. PYB is Pennsylvania Youth Baseball, the league I play with. That's interesting, I said, even though it wasn't interesting. All I really cared about just then was the case. And while Coach Hathaway had been talking, I had noticed a wad of gray something that looked a little like sawdust on the ground by the $sign. Could it have been dropped by the thief? I bent down for a closer look and found, ew, that whatever it was had been chewed up. What are you examining? Coach Hathaway asked. I'm not sure. I bent closer. Oh, sunflower seeds. Do you know anyone who chews sunflower seeds? Coach Hathaway laughed. Me, for one. You know that, Alex. We played ball all season together. I stood up again. You didn't happen to steal Ice Santa and spit this here for me to find later, did you? Coach Hathaway laughed. If I had, would I be reminding you about my sunflower seed habit? More likely, I'd be trying to stomp on the evidence. Chapter 18. Coach Hathaway went with me to look for a few more empty spaces where ice sculptures used to be. There was no more spit out sunflower husks or any other clues. I didn't feel like I was being followed anymore either, but maybe that was just because I had company. As we were walking back toward the police station, Coach Hathaway stopped and pointed at a clean, shiny pickup truck parked on the street. Here's my ride, he said. Can I take you somewhere? I looked at the truck. No way, that's yours? It doesn't even sag. Coach Hathaway laughed. But it's got my bumper stickers, right? I just had it overhauled is all. And washed it too. Gotta get the road salt off in the winter or it'll rust. Now you sound like Coach Banner, I said. Coach Hathaway grinned. Next, I'll be cutting off my ponytail. Hop in if you want to ride. I explained about my mom, and he said I could use his phone, so I called her. As usual, she still had work to do. Coach Hathaway has seat belts in that thing, doesn't he? She wanted to know. I pantomimed putting on a seatbelt, and Coach Hathaway nodded. Yeah, he does, I said. Thank him for me then, Mom said. Wait, Mom, one more thing, I said. You need the results of my investigation, don't you? I found a wad of sunflower crud, the husks. It was by Knightley Bank, where the $sign was. So we might be looking for someone who chews sunflower seeds, Mom said. Okay, it's better than nothing. Sophie and Eve phoned in too. The neighbors' kids put up flyers for you. So who knows, maybe someone will call. And the girls found a few neighbors at home to interview. Several people were awakened around 3:30, but nobody saw anything, she sighed. We may just have to wait until somebody talks and word gets back to us here at the PD. It's bound to happen. On the way to my house, Coach Hathaway told me more about his interest in green technology. It turned out that when the Banner family sold their lawn care business last year, they made some money, and they were planning to invest it in gasoline. Lawn care? Gasoline? It fits, right? He said. I don't have money like the Banners do, but I said PYB might also get involved. Your average baseball field produces a high volume of grass clippings a year. Clippings that have the potential to be made into gasoline. I picked up my cue. Exactly, said Coach Hathaway. So PYB and Professor Henry are talking about our partnership, provided his project extends through baseball season. Why wouldn't it? I asked. Coach Hathaway turned the truck onto Groundhog Boulevard and looked at me sideways. There's a rival project at Professor Henry's old college. They're trying to do the same thing, so it's kind of a race. Whoever wins gets the prize, the right to make and sell gasoline. It should mean a lot of money to investors and the college that backs the project. A race. Wow, that's pretty exciting for something scientific. But what happens to the loser? Coach Hathaway made the last turn onto Chickadee Court. I don't think anyone can say for sure, but if it goes wrong, if it goes the wrong way for the home team, I wouldn't count on your friend Eve being around till baseball season either. Inside, I ditched my boots, but didn't bother to take my coat off. I only had a few minutes before I was supposed to meet the girls at Sophie's. I could hear Dad in the kitchen, so I went in, explained that Coach had brought me home because Mom was working late. On her day off, no less. What else is new? Dad was sweeping. Did you find anything out downtown? Lots, but not much about who stole the ice sculptures. I explained as quickly as I could, including the part about the costume parade. Anything new here? I asked. Like a piece of pie I could grab before I head out? There's a piece of peach you can have. The filling didn't gel. Oh, and Yasmin stopped by. She needed luau for something. What? Dad emptied the dustpan into the trash. I didn't ask questions. They were only gone a few minutes. Yasmin borrowed luau? Why? I skipped the peach pie and went to find luau. He was draped across the back of the sofa in the den, looking out the window at the 6 geese a-laying. In Luau's opinion, there is always a chance one will get up and run for it, and if it does, Luau will be ready. Where'd Yasmin take you anyway? Are you okay? I scratched him behind the ears. Luau squinted his eyes and bumped his nose against my palm. So many questions, so few kitty treats. If I give you one, will you tell me where you were? Luau attempted to roll over so I could scratch his belly, but he miscalculated and rolled off the top of the sofa. Then down, 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 bump onto the seat cushion. On the way, he scrambled for a foothold, which looked as if he was doing kitty bicycle exercises in the air. Luau looked surprised when he landed. Whoa! Then he did a quick face wash to recover his dignity. I meant to do that. Sure you did, I said, and went to get him a kitty treat. When I got back, he was curled up on an orange and black Afghan on the sofa. So you've been hanging out with Yasmin, huh? I dangled the treat over his head. Luau rolled over on his back. She needed help, and you were downtown with your new best friend. I remembered what Miss Miggins had said, that Yasmin was afraid she might be replaced. Did Yasmin say Eve's my new best friend? For a fat cat, Luau can be surprisingly quick. Now he flipped over and swiped at the kitty treat, knocking it out of my hand. Then, before the treat knew what hit it, he pounced and soon was chewing contentedly. Thanks, Alex. Yummy. Oh, fine. Without another bribe, I'd never get more information out of him. And he so didn't need another bribe. Not with that belly of his. I went to get my coat. I'd be late to Sophie's, but I had to know, why had Yasmin borrowed my cat? Well, my friends, we will end there. So, we found some chewed up sunflower seed shells, a baseball coach who wants to invest in gasoline and also has a pickup truck, and he chews sunflower seeds. Now, he could be trying to get Alex off of his trail because Alex already knows those things. He sees his truck. He knows he chews sunflower seeds. So why would I tell you that? Maybe I'm trying to get you off of my tail. And why did he get his truck serviced and cleaned? Questions. Okay. And now, why did Yasmin borrow his cat? We still have questions and not enough answers, my friends. Well, we are at the end of another Miss Hope's reading hour. I'm so glad I got to be with you this evening. So glad I finally got on. And I look forward to being with you this fabulous Friday. So we can find out more clues. We can find out who stole Ice Eve. And we can learn about more African Americans and African history as well. And maybe hear some things about love as well in this month of love. With all that being said, thank you so much for being here with me, joining me for Miss Hope's reading hour. I enjoy reading with you guys all the time. Thank you for those who gave me a hello today. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Miss Brandy. And I look forward to seeing you all again on Miss Hope's reading hour on our fabulous Friday. Until then, my friends, see you next time. And